Hello and welcome to our humble Highland home. Thank you so much for joining me here today. For me, supporting local farms and small businesses is essential to the basis of a community economy. And we don't have chickens, so this is the next best thing. I have read reports recently that our farmers are not receiving a fair price for their produce. Well, this is one way that we can show our support by voting with our spending and getting to know our local producers. I like to purchase our eggs as fresh as we possibly can, as I like to store some in the freezer as part of my pantry backup, and this is just part of my food preservation and storage system. And our shops are not just round the corner, so we do have to plan ahead, and it's good to have some eggs in the freezer just as my backup. This is the time of year that I go through all of our pantry and freezer stocks to see if everything is still in date, if it's been spoiled, or if we need to make or purchase anything to top up our supplies. We also check what we're using and things that we've maybe fallen out of favour with, so nothing goes to waste. So whilst the chickens are laying at the local farms, we will make sure that we have a couple of dozen of frozen eggs in our freezer as our backup. As soon as I bring the eggs home, I look to get them into the freezer as soon as I can. And I always crack one egg at a time into a cup just to check that it's okay before adding it to the jug to mix with the rest of the eggs. This is just a habit that I got into a long time ago, and it's worked for me ever since, and it avoids any potential contaminants being added to your eggs. I normally work with 6 eggs at a time, and I gently whisk them up to mix the yolk and the egg white equally before pouring it into the moulds, one mould representing 1 egg. Then off they go into the freezer onto a nice flat surface. I still have some eggs to use up from last year, so I take out each cupcake sized egg and place the amount that I need into a cup. So today I need 2 eggs in each cup that will defrost slowly in the fridge. These were some duck eggs that we were gifted from a neighbour last June, but I treat them the same as chicken eggs when it comes to freezing them. And I could store them up to a year. Best off using them within 4 months, but they can be stored up to a year. And of course, the eggshells will not go to waste, so I give them a wee wash and leave them to dry, and I will use them later. Now once the eggs are defrosted, I find that they can be a lot thicker in consistency, so I might need to add a little bit of milk occasionally. No, you wouldn't be able to use them for poached or fried eggs sunny side up, but it's just good to have another option for your pantry stock. And today these eggs have been an ingredient in a homemade orange cake and a frittata. Once the eggs are completely frozen, then it's time to pop them all out and place them in a bag that you've written the name and date that you've frozen them on, and put them back in the freezer for a later date. And once the cake is ready, I switch off the oven and I pop in the eggshells for them to completely dry out so that I can utilize them in the garden. There are so many uses for eggshells in the garden, but I'm just going to dry them and chop them up and add them to the compost. And I've kept the egg boxes nice and clean so that they can go back to the farmer to be used again. So thank you for joining me here today. Let's chat below in the comments. But for now, take care of yourself and others, and I'll see you in the next video.